The next set of strategies take us into the landscape of investing.
Yes. So the next three strategies really deal with how you invest your money and doing so in a way that is as tax efficient as possible. So these are the three that I want to talk about first. So
before you get there, when you say tax efficient, define for me, what do you mean?
Minimizing taxes where you can. So taking advantage of the tax rules and regulations that are ways to just reduce your overall tax burden. So it doesn't mean taking advantage of the system per se. It just means looking at ways to be more efficient so that your taxes are as low as possible.
Thanks. All right. What's first on this list?
The first is asset locations. That means ensuring that you're holding the right type of assets in the most advantageous type of investment account. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you're investing in a high yield bond fund. So this kind of fund pays regular dividends. And if it's a high yield fund, presumably high dividends. And those dividends are taxable, meaning you're paying ordinary income tax on that. And so it's not a tax efficient investment. You're paying taxes like it's income. So the best place to hold a tax inefficient investment like that is in a tax advantaged account or an account which you don't pay taxes on, like an IRA or a 401k, for example.
So asset location, the account in which you hold your investments. We're not talking about asset allocation, asset location.
Right.
All right, got that. All right, what about investments held outside of a tax advantaged account?
So that's the next strategy. For example, you have a brokerage account, a non-IRA account, and you want to hold tax efficient investments inside that taxable account. So for example, what are some tax efficient types of investments? Well, stock index funds are one, for example. There are funds that are specifically tax managed or funds that are intended to be held inside these taxable vehicles and are therefore have a lower tax burden to you. Another is municipal bond funds. If you own municipal bonds, you certainly want to own them inside a brokerage account and not inside an IRA.
Because otherwise you're sort of wasting the superpower of those municipal bonds, right?
Right, exactly. Municipal bonds are, you're not paying the same tax rates on municipal bonds. And if you own municipal bonds within your state, for example, if you live in Maryland and you have a Maryland municipal bond, you may not owe state income tax on that bond. So holding it inside a brokerage account where you're going to be receiving a 1099 and paying tax on it every year, if you can keep that tax burden lower by holding investments within that account that are efficient or that have a lower tax burden, now you've reduced your overall tax burden. But you don't want to hold that inside an IRA because municipal bonds, because they offer all of these advantages from a tax standpoint, typically have lower yields than similarly risked bonds. And so therefore, you're sort of wasting your tax advantage and maybe ending up with a slightly lower yield by holding it in a retirement vehicle.
What's next on your list?
So the third strategy in this category is tax loss harvesting. And this is something I talk about a lot. So what is tax loss harvesting? So let's just say you sell a security this year and the price that you sell that security is more than the price that you purchased it for. So that sale now results in a capital gain. But in addition to that well-performing stock that now you have a capital gain on, let's say you also own a stock or an investment in your portfolio that is not doing so well. Well, you could go in and intentionally sell that stock for a loss and then use that loss to offset the capital gain that you created by selling the stock that went up in value.